So welcome everyone to this is my annual New Year Release and Renew workshop. So this is something that I've actually been hosting for several years now, but have done it in person every other year, which has given sort of limits with space and locale. So this is exciting for us to be able to come together as a group and do this virtually. And I am so excited, which I think hopefully all you are too, is because I have these two lovely, they're on either side of me right now. I don't know if they're on either side of you. Where I'm pointing is lovely Selena Jones over here and Tracy Buck. So they are my co-hosts today. We've had the absolute pleasure of running some courses over the last year and coming into the new year too together. And we've just had a whole lot of fun connecting. And so I thought, what better way for us to come together and collaborate and bring to you even more value to this workshop. So the way that today is going to roll out is Tracy's going to be starting with a lovely opening statement for us today. And then Selena is going to lead us through a little releasing and cord cutting exercise. And then I'm going to lead the way with the handout set and a bit of breath work. And then Selena is going to follow up with setting our intentions in motion with a beautiful guided meditation. And then Tracy's going to finish with a oracle card reading and a little channeled message for us to complete our time together today. So we have lots to cover and lots to share with you. We're really excited to be here. And so without further ado, because I know we want to make the best use of our time here, is I'm going to actually pass the baton over to Tracy, and she's going to start off with a lovely opening statement here. So Tracy.
Thank you so much. So I see some familiar faces and some beautiful new faces. So excited about this. Yay. This is a wonderful opportunity for me. And I'm very thankful and full of gratitude. So I just want to ask everybody to just get relaxed, take a couple breaths. So it is with gratitude and divine surrender that we open the sacred circle today. Now I ask that we all move into our heart space. I ask that you close your eyes and gently move into your heart, protected, connected, and safe. Each heartbeat surrounding us, warming us, and relaxing us. And as we sit within our hearts, I ask that we place our hands in our lap, with palms facing upward. As we know, palms facing upward is our invitation to the divine, to our spiritual allies, and to one another, that we are open to receive. We surrender to light guidance. We allow our spirit to be embraced from within and from without. As we join in creating space, I ask that we send loving, golden love rays from our hearts to the seekers within this circle, to our angels, to our guides, ascended masters of all denominations and no denomination, and our many ancestors of the highest vibration across all dimensions of time and space. We are unlimited by the confines of the physical. Thank you, angels and guides from all corners of the universe and beyond, for joining us here today. The angels in front of us and behind us, the angels below us and above us, angels to the left and to the right of us. We welcome your voices as we are ready to listen. With gratitude, we release all self-judgment and invite wisdom, clarity, and strength to lead this circle. Thank you for reminding us that we are all from the same source of divinity, and that our essence, our soul, our true being is that of divine truth and knowledge. Thank you for gifting us with eyes to truly see ourselves as you see us. We are vessels of light. We are worthy. We are perfect. We understand and we embrace that we are beings of universal truth, that which is and only can be love. We accept you in co-creation and collaboration. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is.
Thank you so much for that. Beautiful. So our circle is open. So now we're going to pass it over to the lovely Selena Jones, our intuitive energy balancing practitioner. She's going to lead us through a little release of 2020. Anyone ready to release some parts of 2020? Hands up. So she's going to lead us through a little exercise here. So I'm going to again just pass it over to her and allow her to take the lead from here.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Tracy. And so it is. I love that. So I know many of you here. For those that I haven't met before, thank you so much for joining us. My clock says it's 11:11 right now, so I think everything's going well. It's always the perfect group that gathers. So for those of you who have worked with me before, this might be somewhat of a familiar exercise, but with a bit of a twist as we're shifting into the end of the year. I work with angels. Someone says it's difficult to hear me. I will speak louder. Is this better? Okay. So for those of you who do know me, I work a lot with the angelic realm. So I am going to be inviting in angels in this releasing exercise. If you don't like working with angels, if it's not a place of comfort, we're just talking about pure love, just a beautiful source of absolute divine white light. You can call in ancestors, whatever feels right to you. So I invite everybody to just relax wherever you are, wherever you're sitting, your chair, your couch, your bed, and just take some nice, relaxing, deep breaths. Breathing in calmness and relaxation. Exhaling anything that's been on your mind, anything that's been weighing on you. This is a time that you have put aside just for you. There's absolutely nothing else for you to do in this moment. This is your time to just be. See beside you most beautiful, wonderful light. You are sitting in a place that feels like home. It's so comforting wherever you are. And there's the most beautiful being of light standing beside you. For me, this is Archangel Michael, the angel of protection. For you, this may simply be beautiful, divine light. This might be an ancestor. It might be your higher self. But here with you is the most comforting, beautiful figure of pure white light. And with you, this source of pure light will release anything that's no longer serving you. We've come to the end of 2020. This is the completion of a cycle. Endings are required so that we may have new beginnings. We lovingly release to make room for the new. This beautiful figure of light draws out a sword
This sword is pure white light for divine healing, for your healing. Place the sword of light right above the top of your head at your crown. Feel its warmth. Feel the source of love cascading down the top of your head. This beautiful light. And as your angel brings the sword downward over your forehead, notice if you have any cords or attachments, anything holding you back that you're ready to release from 2020. There might be a cord connected to a person or a situation. Perhaps it's an emotion. Maybe we've experienced fear or uncertainty, lack or anger. See the sword go down over your forehead. If there's any cords, any attachments, this beautiful white light sword gently just cuts through and releases them. Feel any heaviness around your head simply falling away. The sword of light passes in front of your eyes. It passes the ears, your jaw, any tightness in your jaw. Feel the white light, the sword just releasing it down to the throat area. Any words that have been trapped in your throat, any feelings of this fear or lack, any connections to other people where you haven't been able to fully express yourself. They appear as attachments or cords attached to you. And watch as the sword of white light goes right down, releasing this cord from you. Feel the sense of healing and restoration. The sword of divine white light goes to your shoulders. It goes down your right arm, down your arm, past your elbow, to the wrist, the palm of your hand and the fingertips. Anything binding you at your hands, at your arms, completely released. And now to your left arm. Any burdens you've carried on your shoulders. Any of these negative connections, emotions, attachments. The sword so easily passes through and releases them. Going down that arm, past the left elbow, to the wrist and the palm of your hand and the fingertips. Feel how much lighter your arms are now. You've released any attachments, any binding. Your arms allow you to hold and to hug, or to gently let go and release anything that doesn't need to join you in this new year. And your beautiful angel takes this sword of divine white light and places it at your collarbone. Feel it going downwards to your heart. Is there any heaviness in your heart? connections that no longer are needed, to people, to situations, emotions that you're ready to release now. They appear as cords, and watch as this sword just gently glides through these cords, releasing them. And 1, 2, 3, they just all fall away. And notice your heart expands. You've made so much more room there already. Continuing through the lungs, feel the warmth, the illumination of this divine white light, clearing away any grief, any fear that's had us holding our breath this past year. As the sword of divine light passes through the lungs, releasing any attachments, allow yourself to exhale, absolutely letting go of that strained breath, feeling the love, feeling the safety, and seeing your lungs filled with white light here and now. The sword of light continues down to the diaphragm and into the abdomen. Any tightness at the stomach. See if there's any cords, any attachments there. And then watch this sword of white light just gently pass through them, releasing any heavy connections, any chains or bindings holding you to the past. Feel your stomach muscles loosen up and relax. This window to your gut feelings is reconnected as you release any attachments at the stomach. Flowing downwards, the white light goes into the pelvic area, clearing away any heaviness, any parts of ourselves that we have chosen not to look at. See if there's any connections there, negative connections. Maybe these situations served you in the past, but we release them now. They're not needed for the next cycle. Watch these cords fall away as your angel brings this divine white light through the whole pelvic area. And now the sword of light goes to your right hip. It goes down your right leg, through the thigh and the knees. Look at the knee. Is there anything there that's stopping you from moving forward, from taking the next step? Any cords have your knees locked in place? See your divine sword of light cutting through those cords, and they just fall away. Your right knee feels so much lighter. The sword of light goes down your calf, down to your ankle. Is there anything that's your ball and chain that's been holding you in place. See cords of fear releasing from your ankle. People, places, situations completely released as the sword of light continues right down to the toes. And now over to your left hip. Again, see the sword illuminating your left leg, your thigh, to your knee. Anything on your left knee, freezing that joint, preventing you from moving forward. The sword of light cuts through and releases it here and now. You flow down through the left calf, down to your ankle. Again, any ball and chain here, any old attitudes of lack or struggle or grief, any people that no longer have a place, we with love release them to the old cycle and not into your next new cycle. And see that attachment at the ankle fall away as the sword continues down right to the toes of the left foot. All of your negative connections, attachments, and cords have been released. Step outside of yourself, right beside this divine angel. Look at yourself for a moment through your angel's eyes. Just for a moment, see yourself the way your angel sees you. You are absolutely perfect. There is no judgment, no disappointment, no greater expectation. You are loved so fully and completely. You are completely whole now. And taking another few breaths, knowing that you can repeat this process at any time you feel a burden or a weight. Simply still yourself and ask for the release. Taking a few deep breaths in your new, lighter form. Feeling your physical body, sitting in your chair, relaxing in your bed, wherever you might be. Becoming aware of the group energy. 45 heartbeats connected here and now. Complete support. And whenever you're ready, slowly open your eyes, bringing yourself back to the group. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Selena. Hopefully you're feeling a little lighter, a little more grounded and connected. So now we're going to move into, that was so lovely. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Now we're going to move into the handout portion of our workshop today, which I'll take the lead on. So I just want to continue with what you just experienced with Selena, and just kind of do a little bit of a reflection of 2020, a gentle reflection, and just take a moment to acknowledge maybe what was challenging about 2020, what you appreciated. Just what we're going to do is we're going to take a moment to just pull out your handout set and a pen there, and just make a list. So you might notice that as you were going through that lovely process with Selena, that your attention was called to some stuff. Maybe you were finding that there were certain things you were ready to kind of let go of, or your things were coming to mind. Okay, and so just allow yourself to maybe just whatever came to you in that process, we're just going to use this handout set as a way to just sort of put it out onto paper. So what was challenging about 2020? So go ahead and just take a moment to acknowledge that. And again, it's not about sort of feeling into the energy of all the challenges, but just to simply acknowledge what was real and true for you in 2020. So just take a moment to make some notes about that on your first question there. If you have any questions, feel free to post in the chat. There may be situations, there may have been personal challenges, there may have been people. Just take a moment to acknowledge. And then the next step there is to now acknowledge, take a moment to acknowledge what you appreciated about 2020. Depending on how 2020 went for you, this may be something that's, more or less easy or more or less hard. But just take a moment to notice what was actually good about 2020. Were there things that you learned? Were there things that you maybe learned to appreciate? Perhaps we were called to appreciate simplicity. Perhaps you learned to appreciate a little bit of uncertainty. Maybe not. Maybe there were certain connections that you made. Maybe there were new areas of growth. Maybe sometimes it's appreciating what you had. Sometimes we don't appreciate something until we no longer have it, or there's a threat for it to sort of be gone, and we don't realize how much we appreciate what we actually have. So what did you appreciate about 2020? Perhaps you learned to use technology, get more comfortable with it. Sometimes if we've been sort of stuck in a cycle of fear or a cycle of feeling pretty low, it can be challenging to notice what we appreciate. So sometimes it has to start with things that are really simple. Like I appreciated that the sun still shone. I appreciated that there's, I had a house, or I appreciated The really simple things. And sometimes these situations or experiences like 2020, that's exactly what it's calling us to do, is to get back to appreciating the very simple things in life. The flowers still bloomed. Right? So what are those? So if you can't find some appreciation from the grander things, maybe we've got to go back to some of the simpler things. The next question here, the next thing on the list is, what did 2020 call your attention to? So this is a practice that that I love to do with myself and with my clients. And I always sort of, whenever there is a big challenge in life, or we're hit over the head, what I like to call with a 2x4. And I kind of saw COVID as a big, huge collective 2x4, right? And we will all have responded to that 2x4 differently. And it will all have affected us differently, because we're all unique individuals with our own inner conditioning, our own experiences, and our unique view of the world. So 2020 or COVID, or the situations of 2020, will likely have called attention to some things in your life. It may have called attention to things that were challenging, but I always like to see these challenges as opportunities. So often the 2x4 comes in and it feels like there's more problems. It feels like things got harder. So wherever you saw things felt like a problem or things got harder, those are actually your opportunities. So it basically, when a 2x4 comes in, it shines a light. It's like a flashlight. So it calls attention to what's already there, that's perhaps just being hidden. So when everything sometimes is going well, or we're in our comfort zone, right, or in the flow of life, sometimes what's there isn't obvious. But we need the 2x4 to shine a flashlight on what's sitting under the surface. And that's really what we saw collectively and globally. Everything we saw was already there. It's just that the situation called it up. It's kind of like a pimple, right? So it's like, that's how it was like it squeezed it, right? And it's coming up. So it was already there. And that same thing probably in your life is that it was a calling attention to things that were already there. So it could have been relationship dynamics. So without pressure, sometimes we don't realize that there's a dynamic going on that's maybe not serving us, or it's easy to ignore it when there's no pressure. But we add a little pressure and we heat it up, and it brings it to the surface, and it looks like a problem. It looks like something in the way. But I invite you to instead look at it as, what is it calling your attention to? And it's coming up as an opportunity for healing, an opportunity for clearing. And if you actually lean into that and look at it with a positive focus, with curiosity, with openness, and you're willing to lean into it and go there, that is actually your breakthrough. That's how you move forward. So you know how you have that list of things that you want in life, who you want to be, what you want to have, the experiences you want to feel. We all have it, right? We all have something that we're kind of working towards or want to have. And we have a perception that we can just set goals and go get it. COVID or situations like this showed us what needs to be addressed first. So in order for you to have that which you desire, whatever was called up because of the pressure cooker of COVID was simply showing you what's next, what needs to be addressed in your life next in order for you to have that. So what was COVID or the situation or 2020 calling your attention to? It could be a relationship with yourself. It could be a particular dynamic in a relationship with somebody else. It could be calling your attention to, your career or your job, how it's not a match, or that you're really being called to go in a different direction. Or maybe it's calling attention to your health and what needs addressing there. So what did 2020 call your attention to? Now, it also may have called your attention to things like, wow, I have the skills. I was able to actually handle some stuff in a new way in 2020, or maybe it showed you the skills you have, some of the abilities you have. So it's not all, this isn't all just have to be a sort of sort of a negative thing. It can also all be about like the abilities you have, the skills you have, the resources you have. Okay, so what did 2020 call your attention to? So I'll just give you an example. For me, 2020 called my attention to a pattern or habit around not making my needs or my desires a priority. I found that in certain situations in my life, in certain relationships, and certain dynamics, my tendency was to put my needs low on the list, or my wants, especially if mine is a want. Ooh, can I have a want? Like something that I just want. Ooh, this is a big one, folks. When somebody else has a greater need than me and it's a need. So I got to, do you hear my language? I got to explore that this year. And I got to practice having my wants and needs a priority, because I realized I had a belief that if I had a want or need, that it may be taking away from somebody else. And that was coming up for healing, because that's not true. Okay, so I got to practice and got to heal that story. And it really was coming from an identity I had rooted in needing to please people and to make other people's needs a priority over mine. So I got to, so it called an attention, and it called an attention through difficult situation. Okay, and I recognized it in the time, so I got to heal it and address it. And then I got to choose to release that identity and to release that pattern and habit and way of showing up in my life. And when I chose to shift it and release it, the dynamic completely changed. Pretty cool. So what did 2020 call your attention to? And I also, that same situation showed me the skills I had. So I got to go, wow, okay, I have this skill and the ability to be able to handle that. So what did 2020 call your attention to? So take a moment to take a look at that. Sometimes maybe it's boundaries. Another one for me, I'll just share. It feels like I should share. This one is something about boundaries. So not having boundaries, right? Or the need for more boundaries. Oh, you absolutely nailed a perfect way to take that. Boundaries and self-love. I love it. Those are really big ones that you may have discovered in all of this. I know for me, boundaries around when I was schooling and trying to figure out how to navigate this sort of new way of being, boundaries became really, really important, but do I deserve to have them at this level? So that was a big one as well, that I got to practice and play with this year. So what from 2020 are you ready to release? So for me, it was like an identity. I have this sort of identity and this belief around undeservingness. Gosh, I was tired of that story. And I didn't realize how tired I was of that story and that way of being until this year hit. Until the pressure cooker of, okay, Andrea, like, let's squeeze you just a little bit more and see how you handle this. And I was like, oh, I'm so tired of this way of being. Right. And I'm going to be honest, I've done a lot of work in this area already. So I just got it to a new level this year. And then when I did it and I addressed it, I actually saw a tremendous shift and movement in my life, which was pretty cool. So again, just what I was wanting to release was this identity and a belief around undeservingness. I have this story, right? So maybe what's that? So what are you ready to release for 2020? Is there a story that you tell? Is there an identity? Is there a belief? It can also just be an emotion. Maybe you can't even articulate it yet. You're like, I don't know what it is. I just know that I feel angry all the time and I'm ready to release that. Or I feel grief or sadness and I'm just ready to release that. So you may not be able to articulate it yet. and that's okay. It might just be one word for you. Fear. There's a big one. Mm-hmm. All right. So enough about 2020. I think we're ready to move on. Are we ready to move on? We're all ready to, we're released, we're good. We know what we're ready to move on from now. Okay. We're going to move into becoming intentional creators in 2021. How does that sound? Intentional creators. Awesome. So I, as a coach in the business world, we're so taught all about planning and strategic planning and goal setting and mapping everything out from A to Z. I have not done that in years. And you might think that I would be someone to do that, as some of the labels I have, but I haven't done it in years because I bumped up against a lot of it several years ago, realizing that this doesn't always work. And sometimes we have the really set plan, and this is what 2020 taught us. Sorry to bring 2020 up again, is that sometimes we have a really set plan, a way of doing things, and we're like this, that's the way it has to go. But then something comes and shakes up our world that looks like an obstacle or a pandemic. And all of a sudden we don't know how to handle what happens because that's our plan. And this is the way things have to go. But so often the plan and the way things have to go is created by kind of our ego or our logical mind. And do you know what our ego or logical mind is rooted in? The past. It kind of uses what we've come to know and who we think we are and who we think we need to be in order to have. It uses that to come up with the plan. And then we create this plan. And then when the plan doesn't go according to the way our ego prefers, we have problems with it. And then those problems feel like disturbances. And the ego doesn't like disturbances. The ego likes things to go exactly according to plan. So I realized that so often we need a better way of approaching life, because life doesn't happen like that. And usually what it requires is a whole lot of trying to control what's outside of us in order for us to have the plan in place. Now, I'm not saying that we just sort of float through life and don't think or take action. But the way that I do things is called really about taking aligned action and being able to go with the flow and allow life to show us the direction. But how do we know which direction to go in? Right? How do we know which direction? Well, that's what I'm going to teach you today. I'm going to teach you a process about how to take aligned action in your life so that whatever happens, whether it's a pandemic or a problem or whatever happens, is that you can go with the flow of it, recognizing that whatever is happening for you. And there will always be opportunities for growth, expansion, and for you to move through whatever comes up, whether it's a pandemic or something smaller. So to start this process, I'm going to invite you to think about what you're ready to embrace for 2021. So like, what would you really love to experience? Like, just go there. And I don't want you to go, well, what's realistic? I just want you to go with what you would really love, because this is just part of a process here. Okay. So like, what would feel so expansive and fulfilling and feel amazing to you, even if it's like, yeah, but I'm not even set up for that yet, or I'm da-da-da-da. This is just an imaginative process. What would you really love to experience? And then why? So I'm going to give you a few minutes to answer this. And the why is really important. And your why, we want to have it in is, why do I want this? Well, because I don't want to. Nah. So what I think, sometimes we want something because we want to avoid something, because we don't want something. I'd like you to frame it in what you want and why you want it. Okay, so always framed in the positive. So have some fun with that for a few moments. Dream, imagine, get into the energy of what feels fulfilling and expansive. Again, it can be with how you want to feel in a relationship. It could be with yourself. It could be a relationship with yourself. This isn't always about having things. It could be. But how do you want to feel? Or what do you want to have, and get into the energy of what that experience is? Could be experiences at work, in your family, with yourself. And just want to say, fulfilling and expansive can be simple. It could be so simple. It could just be just a really simple way of being. That can feel really expansive. So this isn't about this whole like dream big thing. I'm not saying that. I'm saying what feels fulfilling and expansive to you, where you just feel really kind of whole. That might be being at home with a garden and just spending all your time cooking and gardening. That feels fulfilling and expansive. Could be doing art. Could be being creative. What is it? What is it for you? Ooh, what does expansive mean? Great question. So expansive really means like when you think about something, it opens you. Okay, when you think about it, it feels exciting. It feels like, oh yeah, that. You know, you think about going and I want to, cooking's coming to mind here. When I go and I cook a beautiful meal and I play with food and I create meals, I love that feeling. That feels good to me. Or maybe there's a feeling you want to be in a relationship. Maybe it's having a deeply connected network of people, like soul inspired people. And when you think about that, it feels like it opens you. So it opens up your heart. That's what expansive is. Okay. It's yummy. What feels yummy? There's a real high level word. I like it. What feels yummy to you? I think sometimes we feel like we're supposed to have really big dreams and big stretches. I'm like, sure, if that fits you, if that suits you, if that's what you like, it feels expansive to you. But if not, that's okay too. This isn't about big. This is about yumminess. And it will be different for everybody, and that's okay. You're very welcome. And allow it to be a mixture of things. So sometimes it might be the having of things. That's fine. That's cool. No judgment here. And it also might be just experiences that you want. And it also might be how you want to kind of feel in certain situations. So allow it to be a mix of things if that feels good to you. And you can always add to this. So we're just going to get the juices flowing today, hopefully, but you can always add to it and you can always fine tune. This is the thing about the way we do things here, is that things aren't necessarily set in stone. They can evolve over time. Some things may find that like, oh, I put it on my list in January, therefore I must. Well, we can evolve and we can roll with things. That's okay too. So you can also add to it. And the next question is in embracing the above here. So if you were to have this or to have this experience, how will you feel? Will you feel strong? Will you feel free? I'm a big freedom seeker. I'm like, it's like freedom all the way for me. I am like, that is the word that speaks so loudly and strongly to me. So much of why I do anything is about freedom. And it's about emotional freedom, financial freedom. It's about life freedom. So the freedom is a big one for me. Will you feel healthy? Will you feel strong, vibrant, energetic, alive, grounded, connected? Connect is another big one for me too. So how will you feel if you have this? Really, this is about like your why. Why do you want this? Because you're going to feel a certain way. Why we do anything in life is because we want to feel a certain way. Why you want any of this is because you want to feel a certain way. So how do you want to feel? I am a Gemini. Someone just asked for the same people. I am a Gemini. Yes, that's awesome. So yeah, how do you want to feel? Again, why you want anything in life is because you want to feel a certain way. So we're going to do a little practice of really recognizing your power. Actually, your power is actually to choose the feeling, choose how you feel. I know that doesn't feel like that sometimes, but that is a skill that you can gain, which is where your power is. So we're clear on how you want to feel. The next step here is that what is one emotion that sums up this feeling? So if you're not sure which one emotion, on page 4, you've got your emotional GPS. This is standard. I think in every workshop I teach, this handout goes in. Although for those of you who have seen it 500 times already, I've just tweaked it some. So take a peek at it. I've added a little bit more information to it, which I think some of you may appreciate. But for now, I just want you to go ahead and look on the list, probably on the left-hand side. I'm thinking the left-hand side is kind of our higher vibe emotions, the ones that feel lighter, that are aligned with how you want to, likely what you want to experience. Doesn't have to be on this list. If there's another sort of feeling or emotion rather, that sort of sums up how you want to feel, go ahead and choose it. So is it love? Is it appreciation? Is it contentment? Mine this year is appreciation. Appreciation is mine this year. So what is the one emotion? And I would even just look at the list and notice the thing you're first drawn to. Don't overthink it. Right? Just what is your intuition calling your attention to? And write that down. So this is going to be your vibe focus for the year. Like so often we have a goal for the year, what we're going to go create. And I'm inviting you instead to choose a vibe that you're going to follow. Okay. So you want to notice how your body, this is what we're going to be using our breath work for today. We're actually going to be using our breath work to get into this vibe today. There's all these different ways we can use breath work, but our purpose for today will be to get into the vibe and to really get into the experience of how you want to feel. And what we want to notice is you want to notice when you start thinking about this expansive or yummy state, how you want to notice how your body feels. What emotions you feel. So you may be going for appreciation, and as you feel appreciation, all of a sudden you feel like freedom and you feel joy and you feel gratitude and other stuff comes in, passion. So again, when I feel appreciation, passion kicks in and I get all excited and lit up and I like rise so high. And then there's like a vibration I feel. Like I'm vibrating at a really high state. So I want you to pay attention to that. When you start thinking about how this sort of expansive or yummy state, how do you feel? What does it feel like in your body? And really pay attention to your heart space. Really pay attention to how you feel in your heart space. When you envision yourself living or experiencing this in an intentional way. So we're going to use our breathwork session today to actually give ourselves to allow to expand and open up to this energy today. So I would like to just, before we do that though, moving on to page 2 here, it's moving into the recognizing that you really get to choose this. Some of you might think, okay, how do I get there? And or right now you may find that everything outside of you is controlling how you feel. So when the obstacles show up in your life, they tend to cause a bit of a roller coaster and you're really much responding or reacting to life. So I'm going to give you a tool today to recognize that you have the power and you have the ability to choose how you feel. Okay. Maybe not every moment of the day, but we can create space every day to choose. So what you focus on expands. So we want to create the habit of focusing on feeling what you want to feel. So you become an energetic match for the experiences and circumstances that you desire. So you just talked about what you wanted to embrace in 2021. In order to bring that in and to allow it into your experience, it's all just energy here. So if you think about how you felt when you wrote that, we now got to create that feeling on a regular and consistent basis. And that's what brings it in. It's just energy. It's just attraction. That's all that's going on here. Life is actually way simpler than we realize. So if you have this sort of higher vibe state that you want to experience, you got to create a practice every single day, ideally. And let's not get all hard and perfect about this, but ideally we're creating regular and consistent practice where we get into that state. This is how you become the intentional creator of your experiences. This is your superpower. Okay, so we have to begin to go, okay, how do I get there? What are the tools? What are the things that I do to get me into that state? This is that manifesting thing that people talk about. I like to think about this is what you do. You got to get into the state of it's a match for what you desire, and you bring it in. You align with it. So what gets you there? So you got to think about it. What are the images that get you there? So for me, lots of you know this already. Some of you will not know it. I opened up to having a reno. I was like, I wanted to do a reno in my house. In order to align with that reno, I had to get into the energy of it first. I had to become the vibe of the reno first. Sometimes we go, well, I'll be happy when I have the reno. I used to do that. And then I went, no, I become a match for it first. So I let go of the how and the when. And then I just went, I intend it. I would love it. It would feel yummy to create this experience and to create my home. And then I lined up with it on a regular and consistent basis. So for me, for that particular experience, it was Pinterest. Pinterest worked wonders. Now I got to go on there and get into the energy of all the beautiful stuff that was a match for me. Ooh, that's me. I love that. We can do that with anything on Pinterest. So if it's going on vacation, if it's food, if it's whatever it is, that's the beauty of Pinterest, is what are the images that get you into that state? You look at the images, you're like, oh, get you all excited. Some of you may be very visual people. Pinterest is beautiful for that. But again, don't limit yourself to that. Whatever images that you call. I have screen images. There's things that I have around my house that get me into that state. What books? So I have my favorite books and I have them like ready and accessible. So if I'm feeling low or if I'm going, no, I got to get myself up. What books do you go to? So a lot of times there's inspirational books. Where did I put it? Oh, it's over there. Raise Your Vibe by Kyle Gray, which Selena, you were the one who recommended it to me, which we did for book club last month. Super easy, lovely, amazing book to just get into the vibe. It's all about raising your vibe. So what books get you there? Maybe it's just opening something up. You read a passage and it's like, I'll do that. I'm like, this is the book. Oh, I'm there. It gets me in. Did it this morning. Okay. So you got to have some of these little tools at your disposal so that you can get there. What activities get you there? So for some of you, it might be gardening, it might be going for a walk, it might be cooking, it might be, I don't know, I keep saying cooking. I don't know, I feel like maybe there's some cookers here, people who love to cook, I don't know. But what is it? What is it that gets you there? Is it being in nature? Okay, so if those are the things that get you there, we got to build them into your practice. You got to make it a regular thing. What are the memories? So sometimes for me, it's I go into it and I have like joy memories or things that just, or things that make me feel grateful or loved or make me laugh. So I just go there and I think of the positive memories. So often, what do we do with our head? We go off and we spin down a rabbit hole. Don't spin down a rabbit hole, spiral up, right? And go think of all the things that bring you whatever the vibe is that you're seeking or you're becoming. I don't even want to say seeking. Seeking puts it in the future. The vibe that you are becoming, you are going to become this vibe. Who are the people? Who are the animals You know, maybe that's what you go to. Maybe you have a connection crew, people that you go to, support network. Who are they that raise you? Again, the point is that you go there and you come, they raise, they elevate. Okay. Visions, maybe you have visions. So again, I started to vision. I had my whole house mapped in my head. Oh boy, was that fun. Every single night I'd go to bed and I'd be like, oh, I get to go vision it. And it's all created in my head first. What songs? Maybe there's a songs or playlist. Maybe you love, you're very auditory and listening to music lifts you. And so what are those? Maybe, and then practices. Is it yoga? Is it meditation? Is it exercise? Is it breath work? What is it? Cards. One of my 20, I might be at 20 decks now, people. I got about 3 new decks over the holidays. Hay House had a sale. So our Oracle card decks, which Tracy's going to do a beautiful example of here. So I go to cards. I went to them the other day and it pulled the most perfect card and it raised me up so fast because it was exactly what I needed to hear in the moment. And I'm like, oh, there I am. I'm in the vibe and I'm in connected. So what are the practices? What are the things that you do to get yourself to become the vibe? I am the vibe. I am appreciation. I am joy. So creating a connection practice, ideally daily, where you get into vibe alignment, that's essentially what you're doing, is essential to becoming an intentional creator. So it could be 5 to 10 minutes a day. That's all. And let's not be perfect about this. So it's really about becoming the vibe of your choosing by focusing on whatever helps you get into the vibe, which is the list above. So again, you get to play with that. What gets you there? And then keep it simple. Sometimes people are like, well, I don't have the right pillow and I don't have the right space and I don't have the right card and I don't have the right thing. Like it can be in your car. It can be sitting at your kitchen table. It can be sitting in your bed. It doesn't need to be perfect. And if you don't do it a day, don't mean, oh, there's no point. I might as well give up. Just do it when you can. Okay. So for me, I sometimes do it several times a day. And then sometimes I will totally admit with all the reno that I just finished, I lacked a little bit of practice because I was a little bit busy. But that called my attention to the importance of how I set up my life as well. Boundaries, okay? It called attention to my need for greater boundaries because of the importance of that practice. So let's not be perfect about it. Just the more you can do it, if you're driving in your car, perfect. Don't close your eyes, but maybe you listen to some music while you're driving in your car. Whatever it takes to get there. I love to vision when I'm driving or talk to myself, talk all about. So I talk about, oh, I can't wait, or I love my home, and I talk about it as if it's already there. Okay, so these are all the cool things, simple things that you can do on a regular and consistent basis to get yourself to become the vibe so you become the match for your experiences. How's that sound? It's quite simple. It's just about making a shift from our focus being on, sometimes we have a focus on problems and we tend to be really focused on all the problems in our life. And we tend to be really focused on reacting to life instead of really choosing how you want to intentionally create your life, right? We have the power to choose to intentionally create. So how do we take aligned action? So this is the next step in all of this. So the point of this is to get into the vibe. And then we want to take aligned action. So you've set some intentions already, folks, ladies. So because you have set some intentions, and after today, you'll have set it in motion. Are you ready? Are you ready to have what you desire? Okay. So that means that on a regular basis, you got to get into that vibe. So this is how we take the aligned action. And so we don't keep recreating the cycles that we're tired of. So you know those cycles that you're tired of? The ones that you keep reliving over and over again? Your way out of them is to stop planning your way out of them and start intuiting your way out of them. So we got to create space to listen to our intuition, to create space to listen to our guidance. But we want to be in that high vibe state to listen. Okay, so that's why this practice is important. So here's how we do this. You're going to take, again, this is where you might want to be in a quiet, undistracted space, or just, again, you're going to sit there and you're going to take some time and you're going to set the intention to connect to an experience or your next best step. We're going to do this today, don't worry. That is aligned with your yearly intention. So I'm creating an intention to have a next best step, or this aligned with appreciation, if that's mine, and my highest good. We always go with highest good. Okay, that is really, really important that keeps us on an aligned high vibe path. So we always put highest good in there. That could look like this. This is what an intention could look like. This isn't set in stone. This is just an example. Thank you, whoever, universe, guides, higher self, whatever you connect to, for helping me hear, see, feel, and know the next best step that is aligned with your vibe. So appreciation and my highest good. And now we get into that connected state. Okay, so however you want to get into that state, we're going to use breath work today to do that. I'm going to give you a little sample of breath work. And you just get into that state, and then you notice what ideas come in, what images pop in, what memories pop in, what situations pop in. Okay, and you might hear it. You might get images. You might just hear your own voice in your head giving you ideas. You might feel things in your body. You might sense things. And then you just kind of ask, what is this about? And then, or you can just pick up a pen and paper and free write. Write whatever wants to come through the pen. Any ideas, any thoughts, even if it's like, I don't know what I'm doing, write it down. But maybe I do know what I'm doing. And just allow yourself to free write on paper and see where it leads you. And then the idea is to take action on any ideas that come to you. So if you kind of get a hit, I call them a hit. They're like a hit or a download or some information. It might be, reach out to so-and-so. You might, and that might look like I just get an image of them in their mind, or I just think about them. I just think about so-and-so. I do that. Lots of you have heard from me. I was thinking about you. Whenever someone pops into my head, I know that's like a little hit, reach out. Okay, little hit. So that's what it looks like. Their name just pops in. Okay, just, I don't know why, but I'm going to, so try not to think about the why and just go ahead and take the action. This is how we break old cycles. Is to do what we sort of maybe what we're not used to doing. So reach out to someone, or it's like journal, draw a card, go cook dinner, like whatever it is. Why am I talking about cooking so much? Whatever it is, it's just that you're just can take those aligned actions, and you never know where they're going to lead you. So it might find that go cook dinner leads you to a recipe book, and then the recipe book, you find a note card in it, and the note card is like someone's phone number. Like you don't know where it's going to lead you. The point being is just go follow the aligned action. Stop overthinking it. Stop overanalyzing it. Just go take all those little steps. And before you know it, all of a sudden you find yourself, and it's fun because usually it's kind of, there's this aligned energy around it, and things start to shift. So it's not one big monumental leap. It's a bunch of small little shifts that you use by following your intuition, by creating space every day to listen, by getting into the vibe, following the aligned action to bring that which you desire into your experience. That's how this works. And we can just go with the flow with whatever's happening in the world around us. Do you see how it's independent of what's happening of the world around us? How beautiful is that? And that's how we break cycles. That's how we continue to move, expand, and be fulfilled no matter what's going on outside of us. I'm going to talk about how to handle what's going on outside of us shortly, because that's real. We're not going to exist in a box here. Right? So the key is just taking that aligned action, one baby step at a time. Any questions about that? Maybe post in the chat just because if you have any. No? All right. So what I would like to do today, okay, so then, sorry, the final page here on page 3. So, oh, you're talking about your kitchen or cooking so much because of your beautiful new kitchen. Maybe it's me who needs to get back into cooking. I've been ordering out almost every day for much of the reno. I love it. So once you kind of get into that vibe state, right? So now you're familiar with it. You're familiar with that feeling of connection, what's aligned with what feels yummy to you. When a situation, a possibility, or an opportunity is presented to you in your life, so outside of your connection practice, something comes in. There's an opportunity, there's an idea, someone says something, I don't know, you're trying to decide which choice to make. How does the energy of that choice, that opportunity align with that connected space, that vibe? If it's aligned, then it's your affirmative to take that choice. That's your intuition saying, go for it. And if it's not aligned, it might just mean, it might be a no, or it might just be a not right now. Sometimes there's things that have to happen first, and we have to let go of timing, and we have to let go of sometimes the order of things. Sometimes the not right now is a gift. All right, so how do we handle it when obstacles come up? So obstacles are never what they seem. They are happening for you. I know you don't want to hear that. People are like, ugh. On the notion of, when you're living life intentionally, yes, I will totally answer that, Jill. Great question. So obstacles are always happening for you, especially when living intentionally. So when you've got very clear about what you want to experience in life, whatever comes up that seems to be in the way is happening for you. It's calling your attention likely to an inner dynamic, which means something that's going on within you that needs to be addressed in order for you to experience what you desire. Now, I know it will look like it's the person that's the problem or the situation that's the problem. It will look like that. No, it's just that person. It's just that problem. They're in the way. That person, that situation, that problem is a match for an inner dynamic. So remember when I said that deservedness story came up for me? And it was really that I attracted the perfect person that fueled my story. So when they behaved in a certain way and they were showing up in a certain way, it showed me the story. It showed me the inner dynamic that I needed to heal in me in order to have a different experience. So that's what's called I don't know if it's a thing, it's a boomerang effect. I've been calling it the boomerang effect lately, which is really that your life is just reflecting back to you what you believe about yourself. It's reflecting back to you the relationship with yourself. So if you can see life as that, you see how there's the gift there, that thing, that problem, that obstacle, the thing that's in the way is showing you how you can, is the opportunity so that you can grow, so that you can have what it is that you desire. So when you can begin to view obstacles as opportunities, I know not always so much fun because it means some work or some stuff to do. But there's an opportunity for you to create what you desire in your life. So that's what obstacles are for. So your body is always communicating with you, and so is life. It's always just revealing where your attention and your energy is focused. So if you don't like what you're experiencing, it's because you're giving energy and attention to whatever it is that you're focused on. You don't like it, shift your focus. Shift how you give your attention to it. What is it calling your attention to? It's for you. How cool is that? So it's your responsibility. It's your responsibility to take responsibility for what you experience in your life. This is not a blame thing. This is a power thing, an inner power thing. When you can do this, this is when you get to become the intentional creator of your experience. So notice that life and your body are always just communicating to you. They're always just revealing to you kind of what's up next. So if you see, rather than sort of obstacles, it's what's up next. And if I deal with it and address it in a positive way, that which I desire becomes available to me. And then if you don't, that's cool. You'll get plenty of opportunities. So it just keeps coming. You don't want to deal with that. That's okay. We'll bring it again. And not like a painful punishment way. It's like, but this is next. This is next. This is next. This situation, this dynamic. Okay. So there's no timeline. You don't have to. But if you want to experience something different, then this is what's next. So those are obstacles. Hopefully it just invites in a new perspective about what they are for and how they are here to help you grow and expand and experience that oh so yummy experience that you desire. All right, so now we want to take that expanded yummy feeling and that practice of tuning in and just kind of what's my next step, and we're going to use breath work as a tool to do that today. Yay! So some of you are super experienced with breath work. Some of you, this may be a brand new thing, and you might be wondering what the heck is breath work. Or maybe you've heard it and there's all different types of breath work. So the type of breath work, I've given you a handout today. So this is a tool or a technique that you can do on your own. And I've given you the handout for you today so that you know exactly how to do it on your own. We're going to use breath work in a specific way today. And the specific way today is to use breath work to get into this beautiful high vibe expanded state, the yummy state. Does that sound good? I'm going to stay away from any heavy. You can use breath work to literally clear and release emotional baggage. You can use breath work to connect to your guides. You can use breath work to tune in. Breath work we're probably going to do about 20, probably 15 minutes of breath work. Okay. And so we're just going to get a little taster of it today and allow us to get into the state. So we start off breath work. If you need to take a bathroom break. So what I'm going to do is let me explain it first. And if anyone needs to do a bathroom break, we can do that just as you're getting settled. Okay. I love it. So as far as breathwork goes, again, I've given you an explanation of what you can use breathwork for on the handout sheet. Today, we're going to set the intention, just use the intention that we have in our handout set today, which is basically to get into that high vibe state. And if you want to know anything, like you could say, I'd like to know my next best step. And you could just help me hear, see, feel, and know what my next best step is. You can use the intention of I want to get into appreciation. I want to get into joy. I want to connect to that yummy feeling. That could be your intention. But let's all just today choose that intention to get into that connected high vibe place. Okay. Now, what intention you set for breathwork will determine what you experience in breathwork. Okay. So if you go, I want to release fear, you may have a very physical, possibly intense breathwork experience. It's all good. It's all happening for you. But I just want you to recognize that I have a list of what can happen in breathwork that's very much often dependent on how you're choosing to use it. So today we're going to choose to use it just to connect and to get into a high vibe state. How cool is that? Right? Super fun. So the way the breathwork works is you can sit in your chair if you want right there. If you have a lovely comfy space that you've created to go lie down and get pillows and cover yourself up, you can also do that. The point is we're just going to set the intention. You're going to get into your space. And then there's a breathing style that we're going to use. And we're doing a style of breath work, lots of different types, called conscious connected breathing. And it's a circular breath. Okay, so it's all done through the mouth. And it looks like this. So if you put your hands on your belly, everybody put your hands on your belly. Little example here before we move in. Hands on your belly, and you inhale through your mouth and exhale. Inhale, belly expands. Inhale, belly expands. Exhale, belly contracts. Inhale, belly expands. It like lifts. Exhale, goes down. So it goes straight into the belly. It's all about a belly breath. In and out, in and out. Okay. Now the pace of the breathing will also determine your experience. So no matter the pace, I'm going to invite you or allow you just to pick the pace. Some of you might want a more gentle experience. That's totally cool. So just the point is circular. So or now we don't want anyone getting lightheaded, right? So you're going to find a nice, beautiful rhythm that feels good to you. Okay, so that's the purpose of today. Just get into a nice circular rhythm of breath. You might start feel some energy moving. You might start feeling some lightness, tingling. That's cool. That's good. That's a good thing. If you start feeling lightheaded, that's also okay. All you do is slow your breath. You're in complete control here. Okay, that's the beauty. So you're just going to set the intention. I'm going to do a little opening statement for us. And then you're going to just breathe we're going to be about 15 minutes of breathing in and out. And you're just going to notice, just follow the breath. Try not to think about anything, just allow. So if you're starting to feel like, oh, there's something in my shoulder, breathe into your shoulder. Oh, there's something in my knee, breathe into your knee. There's an idea coming in. There's something, nothing's happening. That's cool too. That's another thing. Nothing's happening. That's ego. So just allow the breath. Okay. And then we'll do a little bit of space afterwards to just do a little bit of write on it. And that will complete our time together today. So again, our focus is to get into that beautiful high vibe state. And then we're maybe opening up for a little question where you might see if there's a next step or anything that wants to come through, and there may or may not. Some of you may get some really visual movies going on. You may or may not. Okay, there's no right or wrong here. It's just simply to allow the breath. Any questions before we get started here? I did share with you, there was a breathwork playlist on Spotify. If you feel like you would like, yes, music. If you feel like you would like to put your music on and you have that playlist handy, I'm going to lead you through a little exercise. I'll tell you, you can put the music on and you can go ahead. Sometimes music can be really helpful, and you can sometimes find that you're breathing to the rhythm of the music, and it can kind of help you sort of lose yourself in the breathing. So I've given you that list. You can also do it with no music. Okay, so I'll get you to find yourself comfortable. If you want to cover yourself in a blanket, if you want to lie down, you're welcome to do that. So just stay, if you need to go to the washroom, just let me do the opening statement so you know what you're doing, and then you can go to the washroom and come back and breathe. Maybe you can breathe while you're going to the washroom. No, just there we are. Remember, you get to choose the pace of your breath. The faster the pace tends to create a little bit more movement, a little bit of motion, like a little bit more goes on the faster the pace. If you're comfortable with that, then allow it. All right, everyone. Woo. So just find yourself comfortable in your space there, whether you're in your seat or you're lying down. Just wiggle out anything. Make sure that you're comfortable. Start with your feet planted on the ground. So again, if you're on it, if you can, and have your soles of your feet planted on the ground, everything is uncrossed. We've got ourselves surrounded by angels and guides and our universal support. If there's anyone in particular that you would like to invite in now, something you particularly work with, you can go ahead and do that. You can just invite, say, thank you for being here with me for this breathwork session. And just find your regular rhythm of breath, in through your nose and out through your mouth. Just become aware of your breath. And just do a little body scan and become aware of your body right now. What do you feel right now? What do you notice? Just allow yourself to be comfortable and present fully. Now I want you just to see your intention, maybe just to get into that high vibe state in your mind's eye. Now see that intention encapsulated in a big, beautiful balloon of which you hold the string. Now see yourself releasing the string and the balloon floating off. And that's signifying there's nothing you need to do or figure out other than just to simply breathe and allow the breath to unfold the experience that for your highest of good. Now, when you're ready, you can begin the breath all through the mouth, so open mouth. No pause at the top or pause at the bottom. Think about creating a circle with the breath. Inhale, belly expand. Exhale, belly contract. Inhale, belly expand. Exhale, belly contract. Find the pace and the rhythm that's right for you. And try a lot to allow anything that wants to come through. So if tears want to leave your eyes, allow it. If there's anything that yawning or coughing or anything that wants to come through your voice, allow it. Just allow the breath inflow and out. If any part of your body begins to speak to you in the form of pain or tingling or sensations, go ahead and direct the breath there and just allow. You're welcome to put your music on if you have music. I'm going to get you to begin to slow your breath. And as you slow your breath, just tune in and see if there's any wisdom, advice, or anything that's important for you to know right now in this moment. And just notice what comes through and how it comes through. I'm going to invite you just to stay exactly where you are. And we're going to invite Selena now to lead you through a beautiful guided meditation for our next step.
Okay. So we've gotten in touch with our bodies through our breath and to our hearts with our intention setting. So here in this space that you have created of connectedness to your body, to your heart's desire, with that deep spiritual connection, whatever that looks like for you. Take yourself now in your mind, in your imagination, and see that you're sitting in the most beautiful place in nature. This is your perfect place. Here, this feels like coming home. Sitting here, you're safe, you're confident, you're relaxed. Here in your perfect place, feel the warm sun gently touching your cheeks, your shoulders. Maybe there's a gentle breeze. So whatever temperature feels just right for you. And as your breath gave you so much release. Here in your perfect place, all of your muscles just completely sink backwards, melt away any stress. As you look around you, notice just ahead of you, there's several garden plots. Move towards them. Have a look. Keep walking until you see the garden plot with your name on it. It's a beautiful sign, has your name right there. Through your work today, we've released attachments, we've set intentions, we've let go of what we don't need. You have prepared this beautiful, rich, fertile soil. Look at your garden. Look how dark the soil is, just waiting for you. Now notice in your pocket, you have a little bag of seeds. Pull it out. These seeds, these are all the intentions that you have set today. Notice, is it a big bag? Lots of seeds? Or maybe just a few, but they're very precious. Beside you, there's a little spade and a watering can. Take the first seed. Go dig a little hole, and with incredible love, plant your seed. Have some faith. Be willing to let go of this seed, drop it into the soil. Acknowledge, what's this one? What dream are you planting right now? Release it with faith and trust that you have prepared the way for this dream to plant roots. Cover it with soil. And now reach for your watering can. What is it that you need to water this seed with? The watering can's labeled. Maybe it's love or courage or something completely different. Water your seed right now. And then sit back for a moment. First, the seed will grow roots. You can't see that it's growing, but you have faith that it is. And before long, it will pop out of the soil, grow bigger and greater, and eventually your dream will bear fruit. Now grab your next seed. What's this one? Maybe turn it over in your hand. Now go dig a little space for this in your garden. Is this one easier to let go of? Is it a little harder? Bless it and release it into the soil. Cover it up. And now go water this stream. What does this dream need from you? What's your watering can say this time? Does it need a lot of this water or just a little? Water your seed and again sit back. Let it go with complete faith that your dream is now taking root. And now one more time, there's one more seed. Pull it out and hold it in your hand. Is this one bigger? Is this one smaller? Turn it over. How does this dream feel when you look at it? Here in its seedling form. With conscious action, grab your spade and go dig a little space for it right in the soil that you have prepared. With a blessing, drop your seed into the soil and cover it up again. Being proud of yourself that you've been able to let this dream go. Trusting that you are taking all the actions to bring this to fruition. And what do you need to water this dream with? One last time, go back to that watering can. What's it say on it? Trust your intuition, your deep, connected wisdom. Go and water this dream. Trusting that the roots are forming in the darkness of the soil. Just like in the womb, and eventually you will give birth to this dream. Now sit back and have a look at your garden. You might even already see a couple little seeds that just have a little sprout coming out of the surface. Maybe everything is hidden under the soil right now. But as you look at your garden that you've planted with love, with trust and faith, you can feel the life that's inside that garden, that's growing just below the surface. Come back to this place often. If you find yourself in fear, you might need to sit at your garden and pull a few weeds. And that's okay. This is your garden. You can come here at absolutely any time. Simply sit quietly and picture yourself here. Check in once in a while. Maybe you need to water your garden a little differently in the future. But this is yours. So taking the last few breaths with gratitude, anticipation, and joy at what's coming for you in this next year. Begin to feel your body, sitting in your chair, laying in your bed, Feel your arms, your feet. You may want to move your neck a little bit. And whenever you're ready, slowly open your eyes, returning back to this amazing group energy.
Thank you, Selena.
Thank you.
So hopefully you're all feeling relaxed, connected, open, maybe a little yummy. And now we're going to open up the space to Tracy, and she's going to offer us a message. She's going to use some oracle cards to share a message with us. So I'm going to pass that over to her.
Awesome. Thank you, Selena. That was so beautiful. So Yelena is saying it's a lot of people to channel for. So I'm doing just a group. I did a group channel earlier today, and this is just a group message, and it's more of a message of what we can expect and what we can embrace for the year 2021. I know we're all ready to release 2020, thankful for the wisdom that we gained, but also anxious for the new wisdom and the new wave being for 2021. So I did pull a card for just a general consensus of what we can expect for the entire year next year. And somebody was asking about what cards to pick. I say the ones that are pretty. We just, intuition is all about our first feeling. So whatever card looks pretty to you or makes you feel like fun or peaceful or joyous, pick that deck and it'll always work for you. Okay, so the first card I picked was this beautiful one from the Divine Feminine. I don't know if anybody can see it, it's so bright. So this one is Khadijah, the Mother of Believers. So the Mother of Believers, this just for me means that the group now, we're moving into a year that we can be spiritual and financially set. So there's not going to be a disconnect between our finances, our corporate, our driving, our work, our family, and the spiritual side of us. It'll be really a nice way. We're going to move into a space where they're both connected together and that we can be spiritual. There's this old sort of wisdom or this old belief system that we have that if we're going to be spiritual, we have to give up financial security. We have to somehow have a lack in order to be really spiritually connected. But I, for one, want to have financial abundance and spiritual abundance. And I think that's been the invitation for many, many years for us. But 2021, due to the wisdom and the clarity we received in 2020, we're all going to realize that this is we're beautifully able to connect with both financial freedom. Another thing that this lovely card says to me is that we have to stop thinking that we're running out of time. So on a spiritual level, even in a business level, on a family level, that we're running out of time to do what we're supposed to be doing. This is all just a false narrative. It is not the truth. The older that we get, the more wisdom we get, and we all have enough time. So don't worry about being aging necessarily, because we all get into that, oh, I'm getting too old to learn something new. The wisdom is already there. So we're not running out of time. Metatron, Archangel Metatron obviously has this beautiful ability, and he's been around the last few weeks, ability to expand time. So we all have just enough time. So that's what the general consensus for. I'm going to really try and hurry because I know some people have to leave. So let's go into January. I got the Queen of Earth. So I know a lot of you are going to feel like, okay, thank goodness 2020 is over. Like what? Oh, I just can hardly wait for 2021 to begin, which is tomorrow. Oh, Daniel. And so everybody wants to hit the ground running. Like I want to take on the new. I want to forget about 2020. I want to take on the new, hit the ground running. But this is be thoughtful, be careful, ease into 2021. We have a lot of perhaps challenges that we dealt with, and perhaps some really beautiful, joyous moments in 2020. We need to integrate those, take some time, ease into it instead of easing in and rising up what we've done in the past. So we ease in and rise up. We're being asked to rise in and ease up. So easing up means stop putting pressure. Let's just move and through flow. Rise in means go internal, right? Raise our vibration from the internal bit. Okay, so that's for January. There are going to be things that are going to trigger you in January and be like, oh, here we go again. Don't fall into that narrative. It's going to be some challenge. We all want it just to be over with, but we're still moving through that processing period for January. February, let's see, is, oh, lovely, Diana, focused intention. So this really, February is, we're going to start it to be moving into the month of manifesting. Right? Focused intention. So when we're manifesting all what we're started here today, we're manifesting this beautiful feeling that we want to have, this beautiful energy, this beautiful vibe that we want to have for the next year. Make it focused, but make it open-ended as well. Don't limit what you manifest. Don't put an ending. Don't put a period on it. Keep it expanding, keep manifesting bigger and bigger and bigger. Don't be limited by ego, by fear, by challenges. Right? So that's what February is all about. So February is going to be a super exciting month for everybody. Going to be able to manifest new jobs, new relationships, new whatever. There's going to be rapid manifestation. So, you know, what took us years and months before is going to take us days and weeks. So be very discerning with what you're manifesting. So if we're like, oh, I want to have a new job, make sure that new job is detailed. New job with more money, where I'm supported by administration, like really put a lot of parameters on it. Lots of opportunity for fertility and romance in February. So if people want to have babies, February is a really great month. Romance too, if we're looking for new partnerships or we want to get into a new relationship, February is a really good time to manifest that. If you're thinking in February, oh my gosh, I wish I would have, you know, it's too late for me, but I wish I would have had more children. Be careful of that because you're manifesting a new child. So if you have a 14-year-old, you might be looking at having a baby. So be careful about that. So moving to March, this beautiful card, Pleiades. So the veils are thinning. Everybody's heard about the veils. It's really just a construct of our own ego is creating these veils between us as humans and our light team on the other side. There is no veil. But so March will be like a really huge shift that we're going to be able to channel for ourselves and for others. And so it's going to be a really great gift. Don't second guess yourself when you're getting information. I will post the cards afterwards. When we're getting information, it is channeling. Everybody here has the ability to channel because you are divinely guided, divinely supported, and this is your natural birthright. So you will be able to channel a lot, whatever that looks like. Look for synchronicities. Don't second guess synchronicities. Don't second guess guidance that comes through. If you have this inspired thought, go for it. That's all about you being able to channel. You will get many, 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 many physical signs that you're on the right track. So just keep asking your allies. Asking your allies, there's going to be, so signs are going to come like regularly, more often, like you often will move into like, I'm waiting for my sign, I'm waiting 3 days, I'm waiting 5 days, I'm waiting 7 days. The signs are going to come multiple times a day and often. There's going to be a sense in March about something big is coming. So I know a lot of us probably have felt this a lot of our life and lifetimes that there's something big coming. I don't know what it is. March is the biggest one. We're going to feel almost unsettled in a lot of ways, that we need to be doing something, that we need to be accomplishing something. Just sit with the feeling because something big is coming. You don't have to have action at this time. The inspiration is going to become just the knowing that something big is coming, that a shift is coming. So sit deep with that, go outside in March a little bit, get grounded with Mother Earth, because the shift, it's just one of those beginning shifts. There's going to be 3 big shifts next year. Okay, so April, ease and grace. So building on the theme from the being able to channel in March, we're going to be moving into, a lot of you here are already very gifted intuitives. We're going to be able to move into this feeling of ease and grace around channeling, around our intuitive sense, around relying on our intuitive sense, our wise self. And it's not going to be a disconnection anymore. Many romances again. So those that are in the dating field, like, do that. Get into your sensuality, get into your sexuality, date a lot if you want. It's all about being a lot playful, but an ease in playfulness. Don't have an attachment to, I need to be married or I need to be with one person. So finally, I don't know if who this relates to, but often we're, over the last probably 2020 and earlier, we've been in relationships that feel like sandpaper a little bit. There's conflict going on sometimes. So I feel like in April, relationships are finally going to be like smoother. We're going to have an ability to see other people's motivation and forgive them for their motivation. Understand that we have our own motivations. And so it's going to be a lot more flow in relationships. So a lot of, I don't want to use the word healing because healing feels so deep and personal, just ease. Like it's almost like you'll be able to laugh at the silliness of the conflict that you've been experiencing in multiple relationships. Yeah, lots of divine interventions. It's really a month of calm, happy, joyous, playful. Okay, so let's move into May, this beautiful card, which is Lemuria. So this is going to be the month where there's a huge shift outside of yourself. So instead of being like, I need to change this, my home needs to be better, my job is unfulfilling, it's going to be a huge shift outside of ourselves. So a lot of you will take on roles in doing charity work, perhaps, adopting pets, doing things that are sort of esoteric outside of ourselves, because there's going to become a realization through January, February, March, April, that how we fill up as souls is by how much we serve. And once we serve, we are served. It's what Andrea was talking about, is creating that energy. So when we're serving, we're being served. And we're going to be letting go of the guilt of wanting to be served. We deserve to be served as well. So May is going to be all about that deserving. We're not going to really feel alone. We're going to be outside of ourselves in a global, universal sort of way, if that makes sense. So we're going to be connected universally and globally. And the reward we get from serving and doing charity and being part of it all is going to make us fill us up, and we're going to release the guilt around that. Yeah. Oh, I feel like okay. So in May, there's going to be a huge physical sign globally that proves to some of us here that already are believers that spirituality is real, that we are connected. It's going to be a global sign on some level. It'll be a physical sign. So whether it's something to do with leadership, or whether it's actually a global sign like a volcano or an earthquake, but it'll be a real coming together. It might feel like a tragedy, but it won't. It'll be an opportunity for a global sort of consensus of healing and helping. Okay. That's that one. June. So June is the queen of air. June is going to be a super fun month. There's going to be a lot of ability to travel coming up in June, but I am being directed to tell everybody stay out of the air. So stay off airplanes, helicopters, things like that. It's just not time yet. So we can travel, but it should be by car or bicycle or by foot or however, hitchhiking, whatever we want to do. But we're allowed to travel. We can. Our experience is going to be moving outside of our home. And some people may have trepidation around it. It is completely safe on a physical, spiritual, and emotional level to start exploring the world again, getting reacquainted with our surroundings, because we all are part of this global oneness. So this is a time where we should be traveling a little bit, cleaning house, taking on renovations, things like that, just tidying up everything, but really joyful, lots of reconnecting with people that we haven't been able to reconnect with in a while. This is kind of the time too where, because we're going to be feeling like we're allowed to travel and reconnect with people, ego's going to come in and be like, oh no, remember that COVID nonsense, right? And so there might be some fear around that, around reconnecting and what ifs. So we have to just welcome ego back in. We need to kind of laugh at ego and go, okay, thanks ego. Thank you, old friend, for showing up. Now you go back. Now our wise self is going to lead. Okay. Disappointments are opportunities, of course. So just put ego back in its place for June, but it is a fun month. July, forgiveness and understanding. So in July, because we've done all this beautiful work and all this soul work and all this expansion and healing, some of us might have an expectation that it's all going to be easy. Well, nobody is guaranteed easy, because easy doesn't give us opportunities for more growth. Now, we're not done growing. So there's could be some conflict come up, some challenges that come up. So just I feel like you need to be more forgiving of yourself. So if we are triggered or have a reaction in these difficult times, July is going to be a time of like, okay, taking a step back. Yes, I forgive myself for being human. I am a human. I am also a spirit. I have triggers. I still have a story. Recognize the story here and move to a place of just forgiveness of others as well. It's going to be an easy month. There's not lots of shifts as far as physical shifts or emotional shifts, but it's just kind of that taking us back to like, oh, remember, ego will take us back. Remember when last time you tried to be a spiritual being and have financial success? Remember what happened? So we're just going to let that go and forgive. Okay. Forgive the outside circumstances too. Okay. So August, dance, do something to shift your vibration. So August might be, you're going to look back on this and go, well, Tracy said in that, we were going to be like aligned, and it was going to be a global, beautiful, universal community. And why isn't it happening? You're going to have some sort of spiritual stuckness. Like, what next? I can't get past, my pendulum won't work. The cards aren't speaking to me. I'm unable to channel anymore. My job sucks. Like all of that, you're going to be really self-reflecting in a way, in a human way. So the answer to this in August will be to move. So it might be the month where we're coasting as far as ascension in spirituality, ascension in finances, getting better, more abundance. It might be a time where we're sort of coasting. Now, we're not going backwards. Get that out of your head. We're not going backwards. So we're just coasting. So move the body. Our body is our compass for our intuition. That's how every one of you, how every human on this planet gets their guidance through their body. Now, it might be through visions, it might be through auditory, might be through the heart, feeling, whatever it is. So get that body moving, which connects you to intuition automatically. Gets you out of this thing, this big computer that likes to control everything. I think little ego lives in here a little bit. So gets us out of here, gets us back into our feet, which is really important. We're touching the earth, we're kissing the earth. Right? So just get moving in some sort of way. I would love to literally, some people to take a dance class. I know there's about 8 of you here that's always wanted to do ballroom dancing. Take the class. That's what's happening in August. Okay. So September, higher learning, appease the deck. So September again is that giant shift time. Higher learning. Now we've danced, we've moved, we reconnected to Mother Earth in August. We realized we still are human meat sacks, right? With surrounding a beautiful divine being inside. But now that we've realized that, now it's time, now we can jump in. Now take a course. Now do something that fills you up that you wouldn't think normally. It's a higher learning. So you already know how to do your ABCs. You already know how to cook dinner. You already know how to manage your checkbook. Do something different. Take a painting class. It's higher learning. When we're painting, creating, we're connecting with the divine. It's all divine inspired. So asking to get out of the intellect, this part here, this is a beautiful thing. Keeps us breathing every day, keeps us getting to do all that stuff that we need to do, the mundane. So get out of that. We want to use our intuition first. So if an opportunity arises, how does it feel in the body? What am I hearing? What am I seeing, smelling, tasting? Right? Don't listen to the outside influences of hubby or wife or child saying, oh, there's not enough time, there's not enough money. What does intuition say? Oh, that's that peaceful feeling that I manifested back on December 31st, 2020. There's that feeling. So go with it. Oh, and they're also asking you to say yes to 75% of the opportunities that come up. Use intuition. So if you're invited to speak at a workshop, How's it feel in the body? Make sure you're saying yes to most of the opportunities that are presented to you. There's no room for no anymore. There is no, it's not right now, but that's where expansion comes in, right? And when we're expanded, everybody else expands too. If you meet some resistance around that, doesn't matter. Resistance is that flashlight. Hello. Okay. So let's move into October. October is this beautiful Unbound card. I'm sorry, my light is causing havoc here. So October is just a month of, and Selena will be able to help you with this so much. It's about releasing karma, soul patterns, past lives, contracts, all these things that we thought we were already rid of, right? We've been doing this for years now. We've been working on ourselves. We try not to have judgment. We're just trying to be free. It's just that last little remnant almost of all these things that have been external things that have been influencing us. Time to get rid of those. Do some, maybe do like some sort of physical cleanse, like juice cleanse, get into the body, do maybe some energetic healing work, whatever works for you. I keep seeing a kayak on a ocean. So get near the water, right? That's a very cleansing process, especially salt water. So be near dip your toes in the water, whatever it looks. There's going to be some endings in October. So endings of job, ending of relationships might be painful at time, might be filled with a little bit of grief, but that door closes. They're telling me 2 or 3 more open. Now, I've always said it's 1 door closes, 1 opens. They're saying 3 more open. So you have so many opportunities. So go through that grief, but know that this grief leads you to the beautiful opportunities for expansion. Okay. There's also a time to really address our addictions, our habits, all things like that. So if we're eating too much chocolate, it's time to address that. If we're continually picking the wrong relationship, time to address that. So that's all with that soul contract work. Okay. And November, one of my favorite months. Where's ask and receive? So this is a month. So November is going to be the month where your angels, your guides, your light team, your spiritual allies, your ascended masters, your ancestors are going to be very, very active. It's a time when you really have to welcome their presence. Remember, free will, we have to ask for help. So even in our minds, thank you. Thank you, light team. I need some help today. I need some clarity today. I need the answers today. I need some support. Feeling a little bit disconnected. So this is the time to ask. And they're asking you to not second guess anymore. There's no room for second guessing your intuition. We all have it. We all have to follow it. We don't have to, that's free will. But when we follow it, the validation will come that it was the right decision. So October is going to be like, a little more frustrating again, but super beautifully uplifting in that so much guidance is going to be come through. They're saying that it's going to be often strangers. So it will not be our typical people that we go to for guidance. It'll be strangers. So really pay attention to new people that you're meeting. If you're on the SkyTrain and somebody mentions something, pay attention to the words. It might not be like huge, but it'll all build. So strangers are going to be, new meetings are going to be really important in us getting guidance and information about what our next steps will be. Okay. And beautiful December, 1 year from now, 9 of water. What a beautiful way of ending 2021 with the 9 of water. So the 9 of water, your wishes come true. All your concerns fade away. You have a beautiful love of life. So by next year, this time, we're going to be doing this. Sergeant Andrea's going to be doing the same thing again. And you're going to reflect back and you're going to go, oh, 2020 is finally gone. Look how far my life has come. This is the month that you really have to turn around, almost like you're sitting in the calendar and look back at all the months. We have this beautiful ability as humans to only remember what's happening now and a week ago, and then hope for what's going to happen in the next week. We really have to take time to go like, how far I've come. Remember when I was in this space, look how far I've come. So really acknowledge your growth, really acknowledge your successes. And they do want to also say that finances in December of next year will be rock solid for the majority. Like, we're not going to have to worry about really having cutting things from our life, right? We have to be discerning in how we spend our money, but it's not going to be a fear of, am I going to have enough money? Would be time for some investments, whether it's in homes or in RSPs, things like that. You will have enough money to do all of that. And that's just setting you up for the grand 2022. Okay. That's it for the cards.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
What fun. What fun. So again, just notice that's a group reading. So there'll be things in there that you'll just notice that some things will resonate and some things may not. So again, you'll just notice the things that spoke to you. And of course, this is recording, so you can go back and listen to that next year if you want, or each month if you like. Thank you so much for that, Tracy. So that completes our time. Oh, Lynn, do you have a question? Oh, no. Okay. That completes our time together today. I know that we covered a lot. Thank you to both Selena and Tracy for sharing your beautiful gifts and wisdom with us, with all of us. Thank you all so much for being here today. It was such a pleasure to have you all creating this beautiful sacred space. I hope that you got value from it. And I just wanted to, Tracy, did you want to kind of close out this beautiful closing experience to our session today?
Absolutely. So I did also I did channel a message from a light team that I will post. I think I'll write it out and post for everybody because everybody has stuff to do today. It's a beautiful message of connectedness, and it was done this morning. So it was all your guys' spiritual allies. So in conclusion, and with gratitude, I thank you for being part of my soul group. I thank you for opening and receiving this sacred circle and supporting one another. I thank our guides, our angels, our light team, our ascended masters, our ancestors, all those that came before and all those that will come next, for supporting us in this journey. I thank you for being vulnerable. I thank you for being kind. I thank you for loving yourself as much as we love you. I thank you for seeing yourself with the eyes of the divine, knowing that you are these beautiful golden white lights of pure, divine, loving energy. And that's all you need to be. I thank you for knowing your divine right every day on this planet is to be loved and to be loving. I thank you for joining us here today. And I wish you the best for 2021, and know that you are spiritual warriors.
Thank you. I have tears in my eyes. So thank you all so much. What a pleasure. I'm getting all the lovely chat messages here. So we're so glad that it spoke to you and that we got to connect and got to see so many faces and meet some new faces. We will have opportunities for you to connect with us in the new year here. We've got our Ignite course, which is our the course that Selena teaches, and she's going to be leading our energy healing and balancing course for the energetically sensitive. And then Tracy and I lead our intuition course called Awaken. Both of those are kicking off at the end of January. So if that speaks to any of you and you're looking for kind of like what's next or what I can look forward to. Those courses are coming up very soon. And of course, you can connect with any of us at any point in time. We're always welcome to reach out. I will follow up with a final email, which will have the recording on it. We'll do the card spread. We'll share the card spread with you and opportunities to reach out and connect to our panel guests, or our Selena and Tracy and myself, so that you can reach out if you choose. Thank you all so much for being here today, and we welcome 2021 with appreciation, grace, and love. Thank you all. We are welcome to stay on and answer any questions if anyone has any questions that they would like to ask us. We are here. And if not, we'll see you next time. Take care.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year to you too. There.
Happy New Year, ladies. It was a pleasure to see all of you.
Yay. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me. And talk to you guys soon.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thanks for coming.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you, ladies. That was great. Thank you so
You're
much.
very welcome. Does anyone have any questions? Like we're happy to answer any questions or comments or anything like that. Anything? Come up?
Question about when we were doing the first part about handling obstacles. Part of what I had written out was about having more time for myself and carving out that time versus giving my time and energy out to everyone else, because that's just how it happens to
I
me.
get it.
And so like, it wasn't a shocker that that's what came to me as what I need to do, but how do I make that happen when all of the things that I'm doing are things that I have to be doing?
Right. So part of that is beginning to look at sort of the language that you're using. So it's so whenever you set the intention, now what's going to happen is a situation will arise, I promise you, that will reflect the dynamic or the belief. So it'll be someone that's asking more time of you, and you'll notice, sorry, where you moved, you'll notice how you, the story that you tell yourself about that situation. And it will look like, oh, I have to do this, or I have no choice. And so that's probably part of it right there, is that I have to and I have no choice. Does that resonate?
Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with that way of thinking and not thinking that way. I'm just more thinking like, I have 2 special needs children that require a lot of time.
Right.
And so those are the things that just have to get done, because if I'm not doing them, nobody's doing them.
Right.
So that's more what I'm trying to think of, how to carve out more time.
So one of the things I love to do is when I start to tell the story is that I have time. So when I've done this personally, where I used to always say, I used to go around, I have no time, I need more time. So when I believe that, and that's the story I tell, then that's what I create in my life. So I tend to then engage in life from that angle. So instead I choose to say is I have plenty of time. I have plenty of time. And then when I come from that belief is that I deserve time for me. That's another piece that might be an angle. I have plenty of time and I deserve time for me. Is that when you begin to come into that energy, so you may want to find that in your practice, so if you do your vibe practice, that you get into the energy of having time. Okay. And then you may find that things start to shift in your life. Okay. But when I have a story that I have no time and I don't deserve it, life becomes a match for that. So begin to get into the energy of believing that you deserve to have time, and then begin to say, I have time. And just be careful about affirming that I have no time, I have no time, I have no time, right? That just keeps, it tends to kind of keep doing that. So again, life can shift, and then you want to pay attention to the little things that come in. Okay, so, okay, I have time, I deserve time. Show me what's next. And there'll be some little action or some little step. Keep taking that little step. And you may find all of a sudden that things begin to shift and you get a little pocket of time. And I would like you to focus on all the time you do have. Because again, when we have a focus on what we don't, like I don't have time, we're paying attention to all the ways we don't have it. And so again, every time you do get a pocket, appreciate it. Even if it's 5 minutes. But then we're in the habit of paying attention to what's missing, right? We get more of that. And then we don't notice the opportunities. Okay, so it's just a little ways that we begin to play. And don't expect all of a sudden that you're going to get massive amounts of time, but we can just begin to slowly shift things to create pockets. And those pockets can grow and expand, right? And as your energy shifts, your world begins to shift. So play with this, be light about it. Be light about it, be playful about it. Let's go, I wonder if I can create this. That's what I love to do is when I see struggles in my own life or things that are challenging, I'm like, I wonder if I can play with this. I wonder if I can create a shift here. I see it as a game, right? So little pockets and then things naturally do begin to shift, because they bring a lightness to it, an energy and possibility to it. Does that help?
That does, thank you. And that actually was part of the second part, was that I wrote in there that I deserve that. So
yes.
That's sort of like a focus for me. It's like, no, I deserve that time. So.
Yeah. So really getting into, sometimes we just say the word. So intellectually, I say I deserve it, but I don't believe it. So there is a difference there. And I really want it. And that's when we really begin to experience a shift, when we like get into the energy of believing it. So you might want to go, what would it feel like to, so this practice that we just did today, what would it feel like to believe I deserved the time? Okay. And then your practice is to get into the energy of that. And it's getting and feeling it in your body, not just intellectually saying it. That's where affirmations go wrong, right? I deserve time. I deserve time. I deserve time. But we don't actually believe it. And so your life is always reflecting your beliefs back to you. So you'll notice, okay, I still don't have time. Okay, well, I probably don't believe it enough yet, right? So how can I get into the energy of what it would feel like to have more time? Okay.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
You're very welcome. Great question. Anyone else have a question about anything related to what we do? Or what happened?
For Andrea?
Yes.
Sorry, it's Maggie. Hi. It's interesting because during the meditations, I had this calling. I wanted to contact you about rocks, crystals.
Oh, yes.
Anyways, so then I thought it's interesting because you said I don't have time. So I'm like, should I contact her or not? But then that will be your decision. But my other thing is just recently, my kids are older than you, but I started taking baths because I wanted to have more time to myself, quiet. And I had heard about it, but I had never done it before. Miracle for me. Because nobody comes in the bathroom. But, you know, everybody.
Oh, mind you.
They still came and knocked. But anyways, I'm just, it was like this little thing, a bath.
Yeah.
That I'd never done before. And I've only done it a couple of times, but I felt so much better. So I'm just saying.
So intuition will
here.
look, yeah.
Sorry, Maggie, it's in here, playing with crystals, carve out time to make my jewelry, contact me, please. It's in my thing.
Selena, are you Selena as a go-between?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, I know Andrea and Maggie very well, and Andrea's a wonderful crystal healer in her own right. And Maggie, I have watched go through this brilliant transformation. So I love that you two ladies need to contact each other. Perfect.
I love it. I love it. And so one of the things that I can just say, I think I need to carve out time. So one of the things is there's an energy around I need to. So, and that keeps everything in the future. So when we get into the energy is I carve out time or I have time. So be in the experience of it already. So when I begin to, so we often do that a lot. I'm trying, I'm needing to, I should, and all of that energy really keeps everything out of the future and keeps it away from us. So this is always about becoming that which we desire. So I have time. I have plenty of time. I have, you know, so then and then I love it. Maggie, you were like, oh, you got a hit, which was bath. You know, so intuition will come in, will be like, take a bath. That's how intuition speaks to you. Or it's like bath. And you don't know why, but you just go do it. That's the thing. And you don't know why. Then all of a sudden you realize, and I would imagine too, perhaps you're a water person, and when I'm and I'm having a bath, I actually get into a state of connection. I'm getting into an openness, and that allows things to flow. So again, we sometimes have access to intuition when we're around water. Like it's more, it opens us up. So we sometimes don't know why we're being called to do it, but you just go do it. Assuming obviously that it's, yes, your intuition's not going to do it.
Yeah.
Tell you.
And what's even more interesting is, as I start reading, there was a scientific thing about it, about the parasympathetic, I don't know how you call it, system. So anyways, for me, it just gelled, but
Yeah.
I just hope it helps you, Andrea.
Yeah.
You know, you're home and it's hot water running. That's it.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank
you.
you.
Always share whenever feels called to share. That's important. That's your intuition again speaking to you. Awesome. Does anyone else have a question? No? Tracy or Selena, do you want to add anything here?
I think the water thing is really appropriate. The water is conduit, right? Well, water is a beautiful conduit. So it's a beautiful conduit if we enter that bath. Thank you, Maggie. We enter that bath with the intention of here's my time. It's a conduit. it expands. It makes us, now we have 20 minutes of time. And it also clears our energy, as Selena will attest to. So all these things that are attaching to us, I don't have time, I shouldn't be doing this, it'll release. So I love that water energy. Water energy is very important on a daily basis for most people, even if you don't swim, just some sort of water energy, whether we drink a lot of water or we're around water, we listen to a little fountain, whatever it is. Yeah, love it.
Lena and I are missing our hot tub visits.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things, go ahead, Selena. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I am a better human being for having a salt bath a few times a week. Like I am a more stable, better human being. I'm a better mother. I'm a better practitioner. I'm a better wife when I get a nice hot bath a couple of times a week. And I usually I'll light candles, and sometimes I'm just like quiet. Sometimes I'm reading a book. This week, I finished one of those really amazing spiritual books, and I'm telling my friend about it. And like, but you can't borrow it because I dropped it in the bathtub. So, it's drying out right now, but it's a great book.
Love it.
Yeah.
And as Maria just says here, then all of a sudden you have a 19-year-old and you have plenty of time, right? Deciding what to do with it, it's another thing. That's where I would follow into that. Like, what do I like getting into that heart space? What do I feel called to do? What feels expansive, like, okay, yummy, expansive, or what feels, and again, just go with the first thing, whatever that is. So it might not make sense at first, or ego might go, oh, what are you thinking? Right? So maybe you're being called to, you've been given time so that you can fill it with things that are meaningful to you, or that feel expansive to you. Right?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I think Selena, my angel, she already knows this, but I've been, even today when we're doing the first part of the meditation, I've noticed in the last little while, like I do energy healing work as well. And I've been getting these headaches. And so when we went to the meditation again today, the headaches started coming up again in my left eye and around. And even right now, like I'm rubbing my eyes and stuff, and it comes and goes. And I don't know if anybody's ever experienced that as a healer. Selena has mentioned that to me, that it's just maybe my chakras opening, but this has been very, very uncomfortable because they're like pretty much there every day on and off. But then all of a sudden I'll sit still and like it's gone, like I've never had it. But then all of a sudden I'll come back, like I've had it for days. Anybody else relate to that? Being a healer?
I get
I was asked to do something this morning from my son, and I said, I can't, I'm going to have an energy headache. So I call them energy headaches.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just so much energy moving through when we're doing this kind of work that our body sometimes will physically react. I have them less often now, but one of the things, you get to make the rules. So when you are channeling or when you're healing, you are channeling divine energy. You have a spiritual light team. I understand that you are not human, but your vibration is hurting my head right now. So tone it down.
Okay.
Just set the parameters. Just make that your intention that, okay, I don't want to feel it. I want to just know it. I want it to flow through me. That might help. It really did help me, because I would do a reading and then have a massive headache for a while, and just back to the water again, lots of water. But yeah, it is a physical manifestation of just so much energy moving through.
Okay, that makes sense. And yeah, Selena's told me that too. I just thought if anybody else went through it, or because I'm still getting them on and off, but it's getting a little bit better now. So I'll try that actually on my next one. Thank you, Tracy.
Yeah. And then Andrea said it's also an ascension symptom. Yeah, I've experienced that too. So I remember when I was
what symptom? Sorry,
ascension symptom. So like as you're raising, it's just, essentially from that energy being really high and intense, it's your cue to stretch or open your crown or third eye chakra.
Okay.
Yeah, I found that too.
And
I always say to people now, I know that I have an energy headache, and then which actually is what I get most often now. And it can be like, I feel like it's like I'm shutting down because I've just taken on too much. Yeah.
Okay.
Those
all right.
protection.
Thank you so much. That helps me a little bit more too. Thank you.
You're welcome. still it's learning the self, right? Figuring out the different things that we practices and things we need to do in order to protect ourselves energetically. The more you open, the more you, yeah, learning that. And I think we all learn the hard way. I know.
Well, thank you so much. That
You're
was
very welcome. Lovely to have you here. Lovely to have you
Yes.
all here. Any final
So-
thoughts or words before we wrap up for today? Yeah, there's so much energy coming through. There is, especially right now. And there's a lot of heavy energy right now.
Okay. Well, everybody enjoy their New Year's Eve and all the best for 2021. And hope to see you all soon.
Sounds good.
Okay, bye.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Take care.
Everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Tracy, just before you go, when you're gonna post the cards, can you also post the decks? There was a couple pretty cards there that I'm gonna have to go.
Absolutely. Yeah, I will.
As Selena and I say, it's not hoarding when it's cards or crystals. So
I probably have
had-
40 ducks. Terrible.
I had the best experience not long ago, like a week ago or so. I had a client come in who'd only ever seen me on Zoom and came into my office and went, "Oh, wow, you really do have a lot of card decks." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, no, the other half's at home for Christmas." This is like a skeleton crew in my office of like 20 decks.
I
It
love
is not hoarding when it's cards or crystals.
that's the rule.
I will say that to the end. It is not hoarding when it's cards or crystals.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you all so much for
all right,
being
thank
here.
you so much, ladies. I'm out.